Good morning, my friends. It's your friendly neighborhood PhD, Dr. Judd Burton, bringing you another edition of the Beyond Report on this Friday morning, October the 4th, 2019. And I've had some interesting things come across the desk lately. Uh, One of them is a new find. Um if you've been following my Twitter or my Facebook feeds, you've probably seen the link that I put up about the new Gilgamesh tablet. Now, the archaeological provenience of this new find is in question. In fact, I don't think there's really one to go off of, but uh, it does seem to be legitimate. It seems to have been procured through a antiquities dealer. It does seem to check out. What's interesting about it is that it talks a little bit more about the monster that Gilgamesh and Enkidu fought, Humbaba, and some of the other geographical locations um, in the Gilgamesh epic. So it's definitely a valuable find. Um, as always, I'll put the links to that article and the other ones in the description below. Um, Another article worth mentioning is about a new find in. Actually, not a new find. It's really a new revelation about an older find dealing with the Dead Sea Scrolls. These things just keep they just keep taking us to school. One of the things that researchers have found is that the salts used in the preservation of the animal skins that most of the texts were written on, um, some of them are actually not from that region and were obviously procured uh, to improve the preservation of those texts. And the care and the skill used in attempting to preserve these texts at the Qumran community is nothing short of incredible. There was great care and hope insofar as that these would be available to successive generations in the future. Um, Probably the most disturbing thing to cross my table lately, and again, if you've been following my feeds, you probably read this one too. But it has to do with a site in eastern Turkey on the upper reaches of the Tigris River, known as Hasankeyf. And Hasankeyf, if you've never heard of it before, is a site that has about 12,000 years worth of history going back into the Mesolithic period. So there are all these phases from the modern period going all the way back to prehistory that are of great cultural value. Most of which have not really been excavated to any great degree, from what I could tell. Um, the issue here is that there's a dam being built near this portion of the Tigris River, and when it is, it's going to completely flood the town of Hasankeyf. Um, the residents actually have until about October the 8th, I think, to clear out. And later this month, the entire city is going to be underwater in one of the largest reservoirs in that part of the continent. Um, Now, of course, there's the tragedy of the people being displaced, but what what makes me concerned, and what, much to the chagrin of archaeologists and historians all around the world, this is the kind of stuff that we fear, is that all of that cultural value, unstudied, is going to be lost to a great degree because of this. There have been some protests on a local level there. There's not much that they can do. The European financiers who helped fund the project originally, that is the dam project, have all pulled out in protest. There have been archaeologists around the world, scholars, who have also protested. Um, the the local town organization, I think, tried to petition UNESCO for World Heritage status, but it turns out that the Ministry of Culture in Turkey has to make that application, and they won't do that. They were going to go ahead with the project. Um, my concern is, as an archaeologist, is that it's the prehistoric phase seems to be contemporaneous with Göbekli Tepe, which is also in eastern Turkey, and conceivably there were people from Hasankeyf who helped build the temple structures at Göbekli Tepe, but we'll never know now because this site is going to be lost to us. Again, I'll put the link to the article in the description in case you didn't catch it. Recently, I appeared on View from the Bunker with Derek Gilbert, along with Doug Van Dorn, who's made a very interesting discovery in the Golan in Israel near a well-known site, Gilgal Rephaim. Now, his discovery has to do with a barrow mound just to the west, which looks like a serpent. Now, that's interesting for a number of reasons, because not only because of its proximity to Gilgal Rephaim and, of course, Mount Hermon and Bonias to the north, but it's in Og's old kingdom, Bashan, and in Ugaritic, Bashan means the land of the serpent. So Mr. Van Dorn's find is very significant, and I weighed in on that. That should be posted up pretty soon. Later in the month, I'll be doing another live stream called the Van Helsing Lectures, which will feature rotating paranormal topics. I'm going to try and do that every October. And in November, I'll be appearing on Dr. Michael Heiser's Fringe Pop 321, where we'll discuss vampires, werewolves, and I think the Netflix series Stranger Things. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And there are some specials through Burton Beyond and the IBA that you can take advantage of this month as well. I'm continuing the full apprenticeship module for $200 through the Institute of Biblical Anthropology, or you can try out one course if you want to for $35. I've also got some fun book packs put together for this month. The first is the Giantology Library, and it includes signed copies of Interview with the Giant, Peneus, the Nephilim Dossier, and you also get e-copies of the Shepherd Sling, the Book of the Giants, and the Ethnological Digest of the Bible that I put together. And that will be on sale for $50. The other one for October that I have is called It's Alive for $55, and it also includes some signed copies of books. My book, The Paranormal Big Country, which is about Texas folklore. My edited copy of the novel Frankenstein. The Book of Halloween, which is a short history of the holiday, and you can sort of look at that as intel for spiritual warfare if you want to. And there are 3 e-copies of books as well, and those will include The Book of the Werewolves by Sabine Baring-Gould, The Lives of the Necromancers by William Godwin, which is a kind of history of the occult and magic, and I'm also including an e-copy of The Myths of Greece and Rome, and that will go for, as the title suggests, $55. And I'll have a whole page up where you can take advantage of those. So, in both cases, you're getting $75, $80 worth of material for huge discounts. So whether you want to keep those and add them to your library or give them away as gifts, this would be a good time to take advantage of those. And of course, it'll be as long as I have those in stock, particularly the It's Alive for $55. Those may go pretty quickly, so you might want to get on that. That's about all the news I've got for right now. Again, stay tuned for the Roma X update. I'm hoping to get that remedied and fixed this week. And later in the month we'll have the Van Helsing lectures as well. So for all the updates for everything Burton Beyond, stay tuned here, and I will see you on the flip side. Godspeed.